You possum peeps, today is Friday, March 29th, 2024, and you're watching the Weekly Paw. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief and co-publisher of Pet Lifestyles magazine. Yes, today is Good Friday. And as you can see by what Brie is wearing on the screen, well, that means it's Easter weekend. Yeah, we have lots to get into today, and then I am going to take Brie out for a walk on this stunning Good Friday. Let's dive right in. The other night, my co-publisher and business partner Bill Mason and I were at one of my favorite restaurants in New York, Maz Mezcal. I've been eating there for over 35 years, and I've known the owners for that long as well. It's a family-owned and operated Mexican restaurant on Manhattan's 86th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenues. Now, the food? Guys, in all the years I have been eating there, every meal has been awesomely delicious. Now, we're featuring Maz Mezcal in a story about Cinco de Mayo in my Great Bites column in our sister magazine, New York Lifestyles Magazine, in the May issue. Now, if you get a chance, head over to the website on your screen to learn more about why I have been eating here as long as I have. Special thanks to owner Mary Silva and her son-in-law Connor, who's in charge of beverage at the restaurant. You guys made it a truly special evening, and I cannot wait for you to see the column. Now, I had just left it. Some of you are wondering, why is he talking about this? So I had just left the restaurant to head home. And only in New York would this kind of thing happen. I overhear this person in front of me tell their friend who they're walking with that he thought he recognized me as the host of a show about pets. It was actually pretty funny. I didn't stop to tell them that he was right. So, yeah, as I said, only in New York, and yeah, I'm that guy. All right, on to the stories. IKEA has brought their simple, no-nonsense approach to the pet space. Meet UTSADD, a lively pet collection developed with input from veterinarians, pet products experts, and, believe it or not, an exigent panel of cats and dogs to ensure the relevance of each product. The playful collection of 29 is based on research in the daily life behaviors and preferences of cats and dogs at home. It does focus on 4 different activities: eat, sleep, play, hide. Yes, hide. You know, I love it when a brand, a company that hasn't really been in the pet space too much. IKEA's had some pet products, but not like this. This is a completely different approach. I love it when brands actually bother to do their homework. And IKEA clearly in the development of these products did their research. So hiding is a big activity when it comes to playing with pets. Now, the collection is designed to make these activities enjoyable and easy to manage for both pet and human alike. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting over COVID, and it's just, it's hard to get through sometimes. Colorful food bowls and a double-sided anti-slip placemat help minimize messes during mealtime. The bowls are ceramic and therefore heavier and less likely to move around. And the placemat, obviously given its name, helps keep them in place. They also come in multiple sizes and are dishwasher and refrigerator safe. A soft blanket and cushy bed help provide comfort and reduce anxiety during snooze time. They come in different options, materials, and sizes, and are water repellent and machine washable. Allen key and bone-shaped toys invite hours of fetching, chewing, and searching for treats. And toys which are made from natural rubber and fabric were carefully designed to be durable and robust, yet gentle on teeth and gums. You know, the marketing side of me, given my background, is screaming to come out right now. Folks, when a brand like IKEA pushes out product, they want to make sure that their brand DNA, who they are, what they're about, those kinds of things, are incorporated in some way, shape, or form into every one of their products. So, anyone who has ever put together a piece of IKEA furniture recognizes the Allen key. Very, very smart, very cool inclusion. I really love this line. Now, a modern tent and a rattan-made house make hiding deliciously cozy for cats, and a style-approved addition to any space. UTSADD also includes an updated version of the Lurvig range that blends nicely into the KAC shelving unit. No, I don't speak Swedish, but I do speak IKEA. My wife has been a huge IKEA fan since I can remember in the 21 years we've been together. Well, actually 22 now. I gotta tell you guys, I absolutely love what they have done with this line, and I can't wait to see what's next. When IKEA, who's had some experience in the pet space, but not a lot, when they push out a line like this, it is one of the smartest things they can do. The pet parent is still going to spend money when the economy goes down. And the reality of what's going on with respect to IKEA is that they've recognized a growth potential in terms of their pet products. So very cool. I love this. I can't wait to see what's next. Now, I just need to take a quick moment to talk about a very, very, very dear friend of mine of almost 40 years, Kerry Cheeseboro. He took this photo recently under his KAC Photos moniker. Folks, the man is so talented with his lens, and he's prolific, to say the least. Kerry is one of those rare souls that just oozes talent on all fronts. Check out the website on your screen today to learn more. Now, I do have to give you a heads up. Kerry is based primarily out of Barbados these days, but he does come back to New York a few times a year. So if you'd like to meet Kerry or you want to hire him, just get in touch with him on the website and see what happens. Awesome guy, possum man, even more possum friend. So honestly, I cannot say enough nice things about Kerry because he has been one of my dearest friends for that long. And he was there the night I asked Kylie to marry me. He's been there for me time after time as I have been for him. I love you, brother. All right, before I forget, have I got a surprise for you? Check these out. Ooh. They are Maryllen's Cakepops. Yes, they are the most possum and sinfully delicious Cakepops I have ever had. They are dense. They're moist. Oh my God. When I say moist, I honestly think of that Thanksgiving episode of Friends, The Moist Maker, with Ross and his sandwich when he got fired from the museum for screaming at the director who ate his sandwich. But back to Maryellen, I got to tell you, her cake pops are like little pieces of heaven that you just pop into your mouth. So Maryellen's was introduced to me by my friend Sarah Doheny from Unfinished Business, Public Relations, and Marketing. So next week, you're going to see Maryellen's featured in the April issue of New York Lifestyles magazine. Even just the insert that she included in the package when she ships, because she is on QVC. She has her bakery in Pennsylvania, and she's got a few other things she's working on. Read the story in New York Lifestyles magazine in the April issue. You'll learn more about what she's up to and what she's doing. But I got to tell you, totally on brand, very smart woman, very, very talented in the kitchen. That's for sure. Now, I'm talking about this today because one of the pillars of Maryellen's business is supporting her local community. Maryellen donates a lot to her local SPCA and is a huge animal lover. So they just showed up a little while ago, and she sent them to me as a thank you for the story and to celebrate Easter. So I wanted to share with all of you. Bon appetit. All right. Now, one of the most important aspects, so this is a tough one. One of the most important aspects of animal care is heartworm prevention. Heartworm is spread through mosquitoes with many cases occurring near large bodies of water, but it is increasingly becoming present in every state. So please, no matter where you live, listen to what I am telling you. Best Friends Animal Society, who I love, as you recall, Julie Castle was on our first new cover back in November. She's the CEO of Best Friends Animal Society. And I even met their new director for their New York Life Saving Center downtown at the Purina Dental Life event last week. I gotta tell you, Best Friends puts out advisories at least once or twice a week on specific issues in the pet space, certainly in terms of trends as it relates to adoption and rescue, and from a health perspective so that pet parents know what they're getting into before they get into it. So, we're going to talk a little more about Best Friends as we go through this, but this entire story, this advisory came from Best Friends, and I saw it and I said to myself, it's one of the few things we haven't talked about on the Weekly Paw. Quote, the most common signs of heartworm in dogs are coughing, exercise intolerance, collapsing or fainting episodes, decreased appetite, and weight loss. And that's according to Dr. Erin Katrib, who is the director of National Veterinary Programs at Best Friends. Quote, infection is less common in cats, but the disease can present as an asthma-like cough. Dr. Katrib offered the following 5 facts to help educate pet owners on heartworm disease prevention. So the first one, keep dogs and cats on a chosen preventative year-round, regardless of location, because heartworm disease is becoming more rampant across the country. Folks, I cannot be more clear about this. Heartworm prevention today, and even heartworm treatment today, is vastly different than it was even a decade ago. When I was a little boy, treating heartworm, honestly, it felt like you were in the Stone Ages. Okay? Today is a very different story, and we're going to get into that in a second. But the prevention side of it's a pill. I mean, come on. If that's all you need to do to help your forever friend, to keep them safe, please do it every month. Now, even if a dog tests negative without being on preventatives, they could still test positive in 6 months, as it takes that long to develop and be visible on standard screenings. Tip number 3, if a dog does test positive for heartworm, it's important to understand that the majority of dogs go through treatment without any complications. The treatments used today are much safer than those used in previous generations, so heartworm should no longer carry a stigma. Many shelters that are struggling with overcrowding, and this is where my heart goes out, and it really just makes me so sad to think about this, but it's incredibly important. Many shelters that are struggling with overcrowding across the South are the same shelters with a high prevalence of heartworm disease. Sadly, heartworm-positive dogs are the first to be euthanized when capacity becomes an issue at shelters, so they're an at-risk population in those shelter systems. Now, look, folks, before somebody starts going off the rails, let me just be very clear about this. No shelter wants to euthanize an animal, but they don't really have a choice either, unfortunately. And in this context, what Best Friends is talking about is municipal shelters by law. Once they reach a certain capacity, they have to start euthanizing based on vulnerability so that they can keep their populations going and hopefully get the rest of them out and adopted. So the great news here is that heartworm isn't directly transferable to other pets in a household. So there is no reason whatsoever not to foster or adopt a heartworm-positive dog. Now, lastly, cats can get heartworms too, and there is currently no treatment. So cats should be on preventatives every day, every way, guys. Like I said, if you love your pet and you want to do the right thing, please work on the preventatives every month. And for cats, that's especially true in endemic areas, like the large bodies of water that we talked about before. Now, if you have the ability, this is a quote from Dr. Katrib, if you have the ability to help a heartworm-positive pet by adopting or fostering, please bring one home when you can. It's really difficult to see that kind of situation in my heart and in my head. Because when you talk about heartworm prevention or even infection, again, medicine has changed. The world has changed. So, when I think about the issues related to animal behavior or medical issues, I always try and draw parallels to humanity so that from a human perspective, you can understand maybe a little better than you would if I just talked at you like, this was just about animals. At the end of the day, medical ingenuity, medical innovation in both the pet and human spaces are sacrosanct to the future of our civilization. And when it comes to pets, heartworm prevention is a lot easier now. Those pills are incredible. A lot of them come in chews now. They even come as combination drugs for other monthly medications that you're supposed to be taking, or your pet's supposed to be taking. So ask your veterinarian about that when you get a chance. Now, talking about drawing a parallel to humans, okay? When you're dealing with infection, you have to understand, again, as Dr. Katrib said, this isn't transmissible in that way. It's not communicable dog to dog or cat to cat or cat to dog or whatever it is. At the end of the day, if there is an animal that's sitting at a shelter that has heartworm and you really, really want to adopt that dog, or you want to foster that dog to get it out of the shelter, by all means, please do. Because that means if you have pets at home, they're not going to get sick. And you've saved another life. So last week, I updated everyone on how Brie was doing with Doggywana. It's organic catnip for dogs. Now, my friends at Propel, which introduced me to the brand, sent me an email testimonial that a customer of the brand sent in to them. It was just so sweet. So I had to share it with you folks. So check these pictures out. It's adorable. And apparently this puppy was just so absolutely full of energy and shenanigans. And the owner, the pet parent, went away on business and was afraid that the dog was going to act out. Just went to Global Pet Expo down in Orlando, and ran into a few of the people from Doggywana and Meowywana, and was given samples and stuff like that. So he gave his dog, the Doggywana, just as we give it to Brie every meal, and dog became very chill, just sort of relaxed. Okay, again, it's not THC, it's not CBD, it's organic catnip for dogs. Check it out in the URL on your screen. Now, earlier this week, I had posted on Pet Lifestyles Magazine's Instagram this photo. Can anyone guess why a pet magazine is putting up a post of a picture of a steak? No? It was Brie's second gotcha day. Well, something good must be happening in the kitchen for Brie's second gotcha day. And oh boy, it's a celebratory steak. You ready, Brie? You ready? So Brie is ready for her steak. Huh? Happy gotcha day. Happy second gotcha. Ooh, yummy. Here you go, honey. There you go. Oh, yes. Oh, Brie. There you go. Ready? Up. Sit. And spin. And spin. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Look at how beautiful our girl is. Happy gotcha day, Brie. We love you, honey. For those who don't know, gotcha day is the term that is used in the pet space for the anniversary of the adoption of an animal. So it has been 2 years with Brie that I absolutely cherish every minute of every day. She has been my saving grace alongside my wife, Kylie, and has gotten me through an amazing 2 years for sure. So I love you, Brioreo. Thank you for being our forever one. As it is Easter weekend, I've decided that we're not going to feature adoptables this week on Furry Friday. So we've got a different thing to talk about, though. So welcome to this week's Furry Friday. This is when I normally talk about adoptables in the shelters or rescues that they come from. Now, instead, we're just going to talk about adoption and fostering because right now, the shelter situation across the country is getting completely out of hand. The last 15 years of productivity in the adoption, advocacy, and rescue space has all been erased. Pretty much. Much of that due to the wonderful people who I still can't even believe this actually happened. But it did. It's the human condition. During the pandemic, people were adopting left, right, and sideways. And, they wanted a forever one to be with them at home while they were in the shutdowns or lockdowns. And as soon as the pandemic was over and they were ordered back to work, that animal went right back to that rescue or shelter. Folks, I have had many, 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 many pets in my life. And the reality is I have always had a very, very busy schedule. Whether it was traveling extensively or a lot of meetings or productions or, being on TV or doing whatever it is that I do. At the end of the day, I always figured it out, as did my wife Kylie, as did my mom and dad, and countless millions of others across the planet. The fact that these people surrendered these pets who got them through the pandemic is disgusting. But unfortunately, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. The shelters across this country are full of pets. Please consider adopting today. Or, if you're not in a position to adopt, there is another option. It's called fostering. And yeah, a lot of people become foster failures where they'll foster a dog and then they'll end up adopting that dog. We were foster failures with our Rolo. We had fostered him, and then, literally within days, Kylie and I looked at each other and said, yeah, he's ours. We're taking him. Fostering is an incredibly important lifeline to the animal rescue and advocacy community. Why? Earlier, you heard me talk about the requirement in some places where when a shelter reaches a certain capacity, they have to start euthanizing for space. Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? So if you have the ability to temporarily foster a pet, meaning that pet lives with you as if it is your pet dog or your pet cat, okay? Even though it's not. Basically, you are taking temporary custody of that animal into your home until the rescue or shelter you're working with can find a permanent home for that animal. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Why does that matter? It opens up space at the municipal shelters for more animals to come in so that the euthanization levels get lowered, okay? When it comes to, I'm going to use ACC as an example, Animal Care Centers in New York City, which you all know I've worked with for many, many years. Look, guys, at the end of the day, before the pandemic, we helped ACC get to that live release rate of 93%. Anything above 90% basically means it's a no-kill, okay? Because you always have to account for severe illnesses. You have to account for certain other issues that come up in the adoption and rescue process. So a shelter will deem an animal, unfortunately, unadoptable for a number of reasons. The usual one is a medical problem. In this context, fostering helps alleviate a lot of that pressure on the shelter system. So if you live in the New York area, I highly, highly, highly recommend you visit the URL on your screen and learn about Animal Care Centers' fostering program. Because right now, without your help, there will be an animal that will get euthanized. And this is a very serious problem. The fact that we took a 15-year step back because people just couldn't be bothered to care for the pets that got them through the pandemic, it makes me so sad. And it makes me angry. And I don't like being angry. So I would ask that you also visit bestfriends.org to learn about how you can make a difference today. Whether that's at one of their life-saving centers, which they have one in downtown New York City, or they have an entire network of partners that they work with. And I actually believe Animal Care Centers of New York City is one of them. So go on to bestfriends.org, learn as much as you can about fostering, about adoption, about volunteering for your local animal shelter or rescue, and hopefully you can make a difference. All right, guys, welcome to this week's TGI Furry. This is when I get to show you guys the memes I've collected throughout the week to hopefully end the episode with a smile or a laugh. And hopefully I have done just that. All right, folks, I'm out of time. I'm taking Bree out for a nice walk on this stunning Good Friday. I hope you all have a very happy and pawsome Easter. I'll see you guys next week.